Today on What It Looks Like Homemade, we have a special treat. It is caramel apple cinnamon rose puffs. Oh my goodness. This is such a wonderful, yet it is so easy to make recipe. You will not believe how simple it is to make this, but that's what we're gonna do today. Caramel apple cinnamon rose puffs on What It Looks Like Homemade. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and do it today. I mean, that would be fantastic. I really appreciate it. And for those who have subscribed, I always thank you so much for coming back to this channel week after week. I really and truly appreciate you. So let's go ahead and get started today. Caramel apple cinnamon rose puffs on What It Looks Like Homemade. All right, listen, here we go. You don't know how to cook, I'ma teach you now. Stir fry, cheesecake, apple pie. Get your mind right, you ain't gotta ask why. I can do this all night, let me show you how. Everything tastes good when you follow me. Make your friend ask, can I get the recipe? We turn lemons into lemonade. Get your cooking skills and upgrade on What It Looks Like Homemade. What it looks like homemade. What it looks like homemade. Homemade. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go ahead and preheat our oven to 375 degrees. First, we're gonna start off with our apple here. Now, you could buy what type of apple you want. This is a Gala apple. Now, I really like this apple for this particular recipe, but you could do a Golden Delicious, you could do Honey Crisp, or whatever apple you think is going to cook up nice. And it's better to me when it has a little bit of a sweetness and a tart taste to it. So I wouldn't recommend Granny Smith apples. I think that's gonna be a little bit too tart. What we're gonna use is the Gala apple. Now, I'm not sure how many rose puffs I wanna make, but we're gonna start off with just one apple. I'm gonna show you how to cut it. All right, so you gotta cut it in half first, and then we need to remove the core or the center part of it. And so there are tools you can use, but if you don't have special tools, just use your knife. Cut it a little bit down the middle like this at an angle, other side at an angle. Careful not to cut yourself. And it should just pop right out like that. A little bit more. And that's it. So you don't need a fancy tool. You can just use your knife set that you have here. Okay, now we got that cut. So you're gonna be as thin of slices as you can make it without cutting yourself here. Perfect. Nice. Nice and thin. Because what we want these apples to roll into a rose shape. So to do that, we're gonna make it nice and thin. But we do have a little trick we're gonna do to make the apple nice and flexible. So don't try to go all the way to the edge because you're gonna end up cutting yourself. I'm gonna try one more slice here. There we go. And you want your apples to be about like this right here. So all the ones that are not, just cut those in half. Move the small little pieces out the way. Cut that, and these are gonna make nice. This one's a little bit too thick, but that's okay. All right, now we'll do the other side, same technique. Just kind of cut it down the middle, on both sides. Pop right out. Okay, now we're gonna cut it, again, thin slices. There we go. Oh, that's perfect, I love it. And now, hey, what's left? Hey, just go ahead and eat it. That's good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our apples, we're going to put them in some water, and we're going to put it in the microwave for about 7 minutes. And what that's going to do is allow the apples to really get flexible so that when we make our rose-shaped apples, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. Okay, so now that all the apples are cut, we're gonna take our apples and we're gonna put them into a bowl with some water. If we don't do the step that we're about to do now, there's no way that this apple is going to form into a rose. Look what happens if I try to bend it. See, it just falls right apart. So it's not flexible at all. So we're gonna fix that right now. So put these all into a bowl. then we're gonna fill this bowl with water and put it in the microwave for about 7 minutes. Got some water in there. And you want the water to be higher than the apples themselves. Put this in the microwave. Okay, now that our apples are done, let me show you what I was talking about. It's hot. So now you can see that it can bend without breaking. So that's what we want. So we're gonna set these to the side for now. Now we're gonna start with our pastry. So we have Pepperidge Farm. This is Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheets. Now, these are really good pastry sheets that we can use in a lot of different meals. Let me show you what it looks like. This is how it comes out. Now these were previously frozen, so you want to give them a chance to thaw out as you get ready to make this dessert here. So it comes in big long sheets. So we're going to take one like this. So this is how it comes. Okay, so but we're going to cut it to fit for what we need. And the easy way to do that is you start on one end of it. So we're going to start on this end right here. We're going to take some of our apples. Actually, we need to dry these apples first. Let's get our paper towel here so we can lay them on here. We can dry them as we go. Okay, so what we're going to do to see how big we need this to be, we're going to put our apples on here about like this right here, right on the edge of it. Overlap them just a little bit so that they can form a nice rose shape here. They don't need to be super tall. So now that we know how big the apples fit onto this pastry, now we can cut it. We'll cut it about right here. So you have about half of it to go. So that when we roll it, it's gonna form a nice shape here. So now let's set these to the side for a second. Now each one, now we know about how big we want it to be, so each one we can do it the same way. But first what we're gonna do is take some butter. This butter is real soft. Makes it a lot easier to spread. So we're gonna take some butter. Just gonna spread it over the pastry, just a nice thin layer, not super thick. Just like that. And then we're gonna take some caramel, and then we're gonna put just a dab of caramel on here as well. Just a dab. There we go. Now we want to spread this out. See, in this case, less is more. Because when it's baking, we don't want it just oozing out and it's gonna make the pan extra sticky. Then we're gonna take our cinnamon sugar and we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon sugar over it as well. Here we go. Again, you don't need a whole lot. Next, we're gonna put our apples back on here. And then we're going to roll it up. So what you have then is a nice caramel cinnamon apple rose puff. It looks just like a rose, doesn't it? I really love these. Then we're gonna take our pan here, take some Pam cooking spray. We're gonna spray our pan. Again, I'm not sure how many of these I'm gonna make, so we'll see. I'm just gonna go ahead and spray the whole pan. You're gonna set this into the pan, just like that. All right, let's make some more. Okay, so now I'm done making them. And with the Pepperidge Farm, I ended up having 8 of the caramel apple cinnamon rose puffs. So that's a pretty good amount. I'm happy with that. We still used 3 Gala apples to make it. I had a little bit of the Gala apples left over, but maybe just enough left to make 1 more rose puff. So didn't much go to waste at all. So now the pastry puffs on this particular package call for 15 minutes. So it depends on which one you use, what brand you use, if you didn't use this one. But always just check the back of the box to make sure you don't cook it longer than it's supposed to be cooked. So we're gonna do 15 minutes, but I'm gonna check on it at about 10 minutes just to see how it's doing, because ovens tend to cook a little bit differently. You don't really know for sure if yours is gonna cook more or less. So I just like to check it just to be sure. So now our caramel apple cinnamon rose puff is all done. Now what we're gonna do is dress it up a little bit. Let's start first by putting some of the caramel sauce on our plate here. We're gonna make it look really nice and fancy. Just gonna go like this right here, just a little swivel like that. A little bit more. There we go. And then we're gonna take our pastry. We're gonna put 2 of them on here. So put this one. I'm gonna put this one. Oh, it looks so delicious. Then we're gonna put some strawberries just around it, just to add a little extra element to it, a little spice of color. There we go, we'll put one right there. And then we're gonna put some powdered sugar over here. Just a little sprinkle, we don't need a lot. It's just to add a little extra color, a little dimension to our dessert here. There we go. You can rinse my hands off. All right, and then we're gonna sprinkle some more cinnamon sugar on the top. And then we're gonna sprinkle some over the plate as well, just to make it look really nice and so delicious. Oh my goodness. Of course, that extra that we spread over, you can just scoop it right up. Oh, that looks fantastic. The kitchen smells so good. I cannot wait to try it. I really don't want to eat it because I mean, it looks like a perfect picture here, and I don't want to mess it up, but hey, we didn't cook it for nothing. Here we go. Let's see what it tastes like. Man, I always love this part of what it looks like homemade, the tasting part. Now, I'm trying to figure out the best way to eat this so that it still looks nice. We're just gonna cut it. We're just gonna cut it right there. Oh man, it's so crispy and flaky. Here we go. That's a good bite. Oh my goodness. I mean, oh, it is so good. The flakiness from the crust, the caramel, the apples taste so good, man. Oh man. When you make this, please come back and tell me how you like it, because this is fantastic. I'm seriously gonna eat both of these right now. I haven't even had dinner yet, but that's okay, because this is wonderful. As always, thank you again for watching What It Looks Like Homemade.